Hi there. Let's see here. Hi, guys. So I'm about 5 minutes late for our weekly live video stream. I'm so sorry. We got into a lot of stuff at work today, and I just got away in time to get to the studio here and do a live video with you. So we're just going to kind of hang around for a second and let some people get on here to the live video so that we can have some fun interaction. Um, and let's see, if you are, go ahead and leave a comment below with the most common sewing mistake that you think sewists make. I'm gonna get to that at the end of this video. We're going to talk about that and the fixes for those. So the other thing that I want to mention is we started doing these live videos at 5:30 on Wednesdays because that is when the most of you guys said that you wanted to watch these. But the last couple weeks we've had lot fewer um, a lot fewer viewers. So I'm just curious, if a different day or a different time is better for you guys. So if that's the case, go ahead and leave a comment below. Um, and maybe if I don't see any comments, we'll have to start testing out different time periods anyway, because it looks like I'm about 3 minutes in and still don't have anybody doing this video. Now I know that probably a lot of us have done with what I wanted to kind of talk about. So if you didn't notice, guys, yesterday and today were Prime Day. Probably get a ton of emails and stuff about Prime Day sales from Amazon and maybe some other companies as well. But did you know that we are running our version of a Prime Day sale? So we have free shipping and some other goodies available right now at sewwhatbox.com/sale. That is up on the screen, but those of you who are watching in the Facebook group, let's put those into the comments right now. So sewwhatbox.com/sale. I've put that into the comments in the Facebook group, and you can go there and get free shipping on all those items. Now, today is the last day for free shipping, and it's actually the last day for any fall items. A lot of those fall items are exclusive for Sew What Box. There's a bunch of exclusive fall fabric prints, so if you need any fall or Halloween quilting cotton fabric prints, you can find those there. And also we have some fun project kits because that's what we do the best here. So this is one of them that's the most popular so far in our fall sale, and it is a kit to make pumpkin placemats. It has everything you need. You can see thread and sewing kits here, and I just wanna kinda show you guys what they actually turn out to be. So these are a couple that I've made, and they are, like, perfect for entertaining this time of year if you, have anybody over for, um, Thanksgiving even or Halloween. These are perfect. Sometimes I even use it for, like, a centerpiece mat, not necessarily, like, a placemat itself. So these are super fun. It's kind of hard to see in this video here, but it's a placemat, and it's a lot of fun. So you can get this project kit right now to make 2 of these placemats at sewupbox.com/sale, and after today, these are not going to be available. So these are going away today if you want 1 or 3. You'll need to go get them today at sewupbox.com/sale, and if you do that, you can also get free shipping. If you wanna go check out that sale but don't want to buy that, um, particular kit, we do have free actual patterns for it that we're sending out with all orders. So printed, that side's white, this side you can see it's the actual pattern. So you can follow along with the directions, cut out the pieces, and there's even a link to a tutorial video in here. So you could go to our sale site and order something other than the kit that I just showed you, any fabrics or any other project kits, and you'll get one of these for free in your shipment. Now, those shipments are set to send out by the end of this week, so you should get them in plenty of time for Thanksgiving. I mean Halloween. Thank God it's not Thanksgiving yet. Okay, so let's get into my topic of the day. So we're gonna do a little bit of a tutorial here. Um, if you were around for the beginning of the video, I mentioned that we're gonna talk about the 2 biggest mistakes that sewists make. Now, if you have any ideas about what a big mistake that a sewist makes, go ahead and put them in the comments below. I'm curious to see what you think. Maybe you can guess it. So if you're just tuning in, go ahead and comment below with your thought on what one of the biggest mistakes that sewists make is. Go ahead and leave that in the comments. We'll see if we get any in here. We're about to go into showing some fixes for 2 of the biggest mistakes that sewers make. So, let's see here. I don't see any comments coming through, so let's go ahead and just get into it, shall we? So, I'm going to switch over to our second camera view here. Now, if you are watching in the Facebook group, unfortunately, I can't switch to the other. Amy says the sound is cutting in and out. That is not great. I wonder if I'm having, issues with my internet. Give me a second to see if I can troubleshoot this really quick. Let's see. Stupid internet, give me a second. Let's see if I can get this one to work. Okay, am I still here? And is the sound any better, Amy? Let's see, it looks like, sound is or my internet is still here. It looks like I'm still streaming. Hopefully, the internet's better and the sound isn't cutting in and out. If it still is, I might have to look into that before next week. Amy says, "Sounds better." Cool. So now I know I'm gonna have to start using my other Wi-Fi instead of the one I was trying to use. Cool. Thank you so much for that, feedback. Okay, so we're going to talk about the 2 most common mistakes that sewists make that we usually see that sewers make, and they have really easy fixes. So, if you have an idea on what the most common or a really common mistake that sewists make is, go ahead and comment below with what you think that is. Amy, no, we're not near the storm. We're just in rural North Idaho, and internet sucks. My prayers go out to everyone that's near the storm, both the current one and the one that happened, a week ago now. Hopefully they're able to be starting to get their lives put back together and stuff like that. Okay, so for those of you that are watching in the Facebook group, I don't think I'm gonna be able to switch you to our second camera. But the good news is that you don't really need to see what's going on to understand what I'm talking about. So what I'm gonna do for those of you watching on both on our normal Facebook, you can see I just put my sewing machine video up here. Should be up in my hand. Okay, awesome. So I'm gonna be able to be talking to you this way and also demonstrating on my sewing machine when we get a chance. But if you haven't guessed, the two most common mistakes that we see from sewists are number one. Well, both of them have to do with when you're starting to sew, it goes really long stitches at the beginning of your seam line, and you can't figure out why. There's big loops on the bottom, or it's too tight, or the stitch line isn't very good. And usually it happens at the very beginning of your stitch line. Well, these two mistakes are what cause that, and they're really easy fixes that most people don't know about that will help you avoid that weird stitch line. Okay, so the first one is definitely the issue. Well, 98% the issue. If your weird stitches are only like the first inch or so when you start sewing a seam line. So what happens is when you start sewing, your sewing machine has a bunch of loose threads, right? You have your two tail threads here. If you're watching here on the sewing machine, you can see we've got our two tail threads, right? We're used to seeing those, and we usually cut them off when we're done. So the two tail threads, one from the top thread, one from the bobbin or the bottom thread. So what happens when you start a stitch line, so you start sewing, is those loose threads are not connected to anything. So even if the tension on your sewing machine is correct, there's nothing for that sewing machine to pull the thread against, because if it pulls on the thread, it's just a loose thread and sucks it back to the machine. So the easy fix for this, if you've got all your loose threads at the beginning of your stitch line, is to hold on these threads here for about 2 to 3 stitches as you start. Now, if you hold tightly onto this and put some tension backwards on that as you start stitching, then when your sewing machine tension pulls against the thread, it's gonna be actually pulling against your hand instead of just a loose piece of thread. So it won't be able to just suck in and make all those weird loops stuff. 98% of the time that somebody is having issues with loops on the bottom side of their stitch line when they're sewing, this is the problem. You need to hold on to your thread strings for 2 to 3 stitches as you get started sewing. That should clear up every single issue you have with loops or weird stitching at the beginning of your stitch line. Now, what is the number 2 mistake that most people do when they are sewing? It is related to this as well. And usually, though, this is the problem that happens when instead of just problems with your stitching or loops in the first half inch to inch of your stitch line, is when you have problems the entire length of your stitch line. Now, most of the time people say, rethread your sewing machine, put in a new sewing machine needle, that kind of thing. That is true. The first thing you should always try is rethreading your sewing machine. However, This mistake is usually made by even advanced seamstresses when they rethread their sewing machine. And even if you rethread your sewing machine 500 times and still make this mistake, it won't fix anything. So, what is that mistake and how can you fix it? In order to know that, well, first I'll tell you the easy mistake and then I will explain to you why, because we all wanna know why the heck. So, over here at my sewing machine, I'm gonna blow this up for our people who are watching, on the stream, but those of you in Facebook group, you can still just see my wonderful face. So, over here at our sewing machine, you usually come down and you put your thread from the very top down here, around this, back up to the top, and then down and through the needle. Most people leave their presser foot down when they are doing this because it gives room to get to the needle. The eye of the needle, it's easier to thread with your presser foot down. So most people leave their presser foot down when they do this. You should not leave your presser foot down when you are rethreading your machine. Do not do this. If you do this, then up here will not thread correctly. So the best way to do it is whenever you're rethreading, put your presser foot in the upright position, rethread all this top part. Once you get down here to going through the needle, then put down your presser foot so that you can more easily get to this eye of the needle. Now, I'm now going to explain to you guys why this makes a difference, okay? So, tension is kind of a scary thing that most people don't understand when it comes to sewing machine. But what does the word tension mean? It just means like stretching or holding tightly. So, like, if I'm pulling this direction on this and I have no tension over here, I can pull it really easily. If I squeeze and have tension, I'm gonna have a hard time pulling it that direction. So that's how the inside of your sewing machine works. But a sewing machine doesn't have a hand, so how does it grab onto that? Okay, there, it's back. I know that you can see me now. So the tension held by the sewing machine. How does the sewing machine hold the tension? There are some discs inside the sewing machine that look like symbols. Okay, imagine like the monkey with the symbols, right? And the thread goes through in between those symbols. I can't show you guys this easily. Okay, so the thread goes between those symbols. Now, when the thread goes in between and the symbols are clasped like this, it's holding tension. Now, as an aside, if you have one of those dials on your machine that can increase and decrease tension, there's usually a bunch of numbers on it. What that means is the higher the number, the harder these symbols go together. The smaller the number, the less hard these symbols go together. Okay, so to remember, the thread has to go through in between these symbols, otherwise it can't be pinched and held. What triggers these to open and close? That's the question. Obviously, if you are rethreading your machine, the symbols need to open in order to let the thread go in between them when you thread it so that when they close, it will be in there. The opening and closing of these is triggered by a spring that is triggered by your presser foot going up and down. So, when your presser foot is up, the symbols are open. When your presser foot is down, the symbols close. So, in order for these symbols to open, in order to receive that thread as you are threading your machine, you need to have your presser foot up in order to relieve tension that springs so that these open. Then once the thread is put through them, you can put your presser foot down, that closes and the thread has tension. As an aside, this is also why sewing with your presser foot up doesn't work because there's no tension on the thread because your presser foot is up, and so everything is just all loosey-goosey, and, um, there's no decline that's made. Now,
My
you might be asking,
so
where
add,
did she mean
my
image to the screen again?
image
There
to
we
the
go.
screen again. There we
Now,
go.
it's different for different
for
sewing but it's always before you get your thread out to come down to this needle here. So, usually it's like right here or up in here, and it's gonna be before this plunger that goes up and down that you have to thread your needle into. Now, or thread your thread into, and it's always before the needle. So, once you get your thread all the way through here down to your needle, you are safe to put your presser foot down because that means that your thread has already gone through those tension discs. Now, I hope that those two really easy fixes for weird tension things and weird stitch lines can help spread the word to all your sewing friends because this is definitely an issue that we see a lot, even in advanced sewists, people who are beginners, like all across the board. People don't really realize, especially the tension issue. I was actually just having a conversation with a gal at work today about it, and she was saying how she was always having this issue with her sewing machine having loops. When she started sewing, it was super frustrating. So I just mentioned these to her, and she said, "Wow, you know that I tried them, and it made my job so much easier." So I think that my calling in life might be to share these um, 2 tips to everyone that I can. Okay, guys, before we go, I just want to give you a reminder. Today is the last day to be able to get fall sewing fabric, kit, goodies, anything like that for the fall. Um, after today, at the end of today, they are going away, and all of these are exclusive. You cannot find them anywhere else other than Sew What Box. So you can go to sewwhatbox.com/sale, and sew is spelled SEW, like sewing. Sewwhatbox.com/sale. Today is the last day for you to get these exclusive fall items. Tomorrow, everything is turning to Christmas. Like it or not, that's kind of how retail world has gone. Trust me, I will not be forgetting Halloween or Thanksgiving in my personal life this year. But actually, honestly, if you are sewing for those holidays, you probably should have already gotten a start on that. So when we get our Christmas stuff out tomorrow, then that will be a uh, early enough launch of Christmas stuff that you can log in, get that, and get sewing for Christmas. So, if you want any fall or Halloween sewing goodies, you're gonna need to go to sewwhatbox.com/sale. If you're watching on YouTube or in our Facebook page, you can see that link right here um, on the screen. If you're watching in the Facebook group, you can look in the comments, and I left that link in the comment there, sewwhatbox.com/sale. Big bonus, you will get a free pattern and free shipping if you go and check it out today. Okay, so I hope that those 2 hacks and mistakes were helpful to you. If you know of any other hacks or common mistakes that happen in sewing, go ahead and put them in the comments below. I'd love to see all of your other hacks or ingenious tips, and I'm sure that everyone else would love to as well. Okay, guys, that's it for today. So I will see you again next Wednesday.